Good evening or great morning, everyone. Um, Excuse my hair as I'm just chilling on the couch. Yeah, it's looking kind of rough. Anywho, I was doing my nightly reading, which is something that I'm trying to be consistent on and obedient about, and which is really important because there's so much that you could find in the Word, from words of encouragement and guidance and wisdom and knowledge and just peace. Like, there's everything that you need is in the Word. So there's no reason why we shouldn't be diving into the Word day and night, multiple times throughout the day, and even meditating on the Word, because that's where our strength comes from. But one of the chapters that I read tonight, as I read many, was Judges 7, and I appreciate that chapter so much just because of the principles. For those who don't know what's going on in Judges 7, I strongly encourage you to read it. But Gideon had been given an assignment by God to deliver the Israelites from under the control of the Midianites, in which they had been under the control of the Midianites for 7 years. But Gideon at first was kind of skeptical, so he kept asking God to show him and let him know that that message and the assignment was really coming from him. And this is in Judges 6. But in Judges 7, this when he determines that the assignment that he's giving is one from God and one that is true. And as he's preparing for battle against the Midianites and the allies that have been created to defeat the Israelites, he has an army of 3,200 warriors. I'm sorry, 32,000 warriors, in which the Lord tells him, that's too many people. You have too many people on your side. And so he tells Gideon to release those who are afraid. Those who are afraid, tell them to go home. And from then, he's left with 10,000. And God tells him that's still too many people. From the 10,000, it goes down to 300. Now imagine going to war with 300 warriors against armies of 15,000 plus people. Physically, it seems impossible, but the great thing is that with God, nothing is impossible. If God be for us, who can be against us? Nobody. Nobody whatsoever. But as it continues, Gideon has some nervousness to it still. Even after all of the signs that God had showed him to let him know that the assignment indeed came from him, he was still nervous. So God tells him, you know what, if you're still nervous, if you're a little bit afraid, this is what I need you to do. Go down to this area and just listen to what the people say. Listen, just listen, her ear hustle. As we would say, ear hustle to this conversation, in which there are two men who are of the army of the enemies discussing a dream, in which the interpretation of the dream comes out to say that the Lord is on Gideon's side, Gideon's army side, that they will be defeated because Gideon has the Lord on his side. And a lot of times what happens is, God could tell us something, God can promise us something, but with us actually looking with our physical eyes and not with our spiritual eyes, we get caught up on what could happen, or what if this, or what if that. We get caught up on a problem and opposed to staying focused on a promise that God has made. But fortunately, God knows what he said, and his word cannot return unto him void. He said his word will go out and accomplish what he set out for it to do. So if he say that you are victorious, you are victorious. There's nothing that can stop that, because that's what God said, and his word cannot return unto him void. But you know who also knows that? The enemy. Our adversary knows that. And you know what? That's why you have the spirit of fear, or we have, because I'm going to include myself in this. That's why the spirit of fear tries to overcome us, because our adversary knows what God had promised. Our enemy knows that the Lord is on our side. So, in opposed to us trying to live out the purpose or the promise that God has made, the enemy used that tactic of fear to stop us, because you can't stop God playing, but they can stop us. My sisters and brothers, what we got to do, and it's including myself as well, we got to stay focused on the promise. Regardless of what's going on in our situations, regardless of what we see with our physical eyes, we must see with our spiritual eyes the victory way down at the end. And you know what? That army definitely defeated the Midianites. And when they were obedient to what the Lord told them to do, God made it to where the Midianites started fighting each other. If we be obedient, the word says that if a man way pleases, when a man way pleases God, he'll make even his enemies to be at peace with them. God took the enemies and they started fighting each other. It wasn't even that they had to fight the battle anymore, but they were killing off each other, the enemies were. So if we be obedient to his word and do what he says, everything will be good. We won't have no worries. We just got to learn to be obedient and just stay true to who he is. Acknowledge who he is. He's the Alpha and Omega. Greater is he that is in us, than he that is in the world. We got to remember that. So this is a word of encouragement. I normally don't do videos, but I decided to just do this one as opposed to doing a long Facebook status. But I encourage each and every one of you to rest on the promise. Don't focus on the problem. Focus on the promise. And celebrate it now, because we are victorious. We already know the end, and that's victory. God bless you all. I love y'all.